Welcome to Jones and for Sports, where we make sports
Welcome to another episode of Jones and for Sports podcast. We make sports better. And today we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into that, we got to get into our very first sponsor for Jones and for Sports. And it's only appropriate that now that sports betting is legal in New York, obviously it's sports betting. So, very first sponsor, Bet Us. Bet Us is one of the pioneers in the legal online sports betting industry and provides a safe and secure place for sports betting and more than 1 million clients, including Hall of Famer Gary Payton and many more. Not only can you bet on sporting events, but you can bet on things like current events, breaking news, politics, stocks, weather, you name it. Bet Us will have the analytics, the odds, and the opportunity to wager on and more accurately. For more information, hit the link in my bio or DM me and I will get you that information. So now, let's get into what we really came to talk about. And first, that was going to be just this Sunday's AFC-NFC championship game, which I'm very excited about, and I know everyone else is very excited about, especially after what we just witnessed last weekend with what many are saying is the greatest NFL playoff weekend we've ever seen. A lot of people are saying that. I agree to those that are saying that because what we witnessed last week was 4 walk-off games, which is something we've never seen before. 4 games ended and walk-offs, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. That's special. That means it was a great game. You had to watch it to the wire, and if you did, you saw something special. I watched all 4 games, and it definitely was special, especially Sunday night, Sunday in general. You had the Bucks and the Rams go at it. Great comeback by the GOAT, which we will talk about. And then you had the Chiefs and Bills game, which was probably the best game ever to watch because the points, the scoring, it was just amazing. So obviously we're going to talk about the winners and my picks for the Super Bowl, who will make it to the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about obviously the Super Bowl at a later time. But we have to talk about something else before we get into that, because today a bombshell dropped on the NFL. And right now, I must say this before I really get into it and dive into it, is right now they are just rumors. We do not know for sure that this is 100% until we hear it from the horse's mouth. But the bombshell that we heard from Adam Schefter, the NFL insider, very trusted in the NFL, has broke the news that Tom Brady, after 22 years in the NFL, has decided to call it quits and hang out those cleats and retire. You know, not too surprising to many of us because we saw it coming. We saw the writing on the wall, especially in the past few days. Him being on the podcast with, I forgot who, and pretty much mentioning that it is possible that he would retire. And obviously family was being the #1 reason. You know, he's got kids. Giselle wants him home to be able to enjoy watching his kids grow, and to be a husband to him. So we heard some of those things coming out the last few days, and Tom Brady even acknowledged it, which was the first time we saw the GOAT acknowledge any of these things. So we kind of saw it coming, but to actually hear the news and hear it from Adam Schefter, and like I said, Adam Schefter is a trusted person in the NFL, to hear him say it, my first reactions was very shocked. Even though I knew it was coming, I was shocked, I was surprised, I was, to be honest, sad at some point too, because when you think about Tom Brady, the GOAT, you think about all the great memories, the 7 Super Bowls, the 10 appearances, the 5 Super Bowl MVPs, the comebacks, the record-breaking performances, I mean, the list goes on and on when you talk about Tom Brady. So all those emotions and thoughts and memories were rushing through my mind as I was thinking about it. So it definitely had a moment where I wasn't as happy as I thought I would be, because anybody that knows me and that's followed me knows that I've been a Tom Brady hater for a long time. And even way before Jones for Sports, I've been coming at Tom Brady. Not because he's not great, but because he is great. You know, I have friends that are Tom Brady fans, Patriot fans. So it was just my sports nature to hate on him, because my friends hate on my teams and their players. So it was just natural for me to do the same. But then I started hating him because he just kept winning. So, but never doubted his greatness. His greatness was always there. He stayed consistent and showed it throughout the years. You know, like I said, I hated on him for a while, but the Falcons Super Bowl down 25-3 or 28-3, and to come back and win that Super Bowl, that for me did it all. I stopped hating on him as much. I still hated on him, but not as much. I slowed down. And I definitely coined him the GOAT after that. I definitely gave it up and said he's the GOAT. I can't give that up anymore. I can still hate on him, but I'm not going to debate whether he's the GOAT or not anymore. He's got that. That Super Bowl changed it. And obviously he went on to win 2 more Super Bowls after that. So, you know, just recently last year with a new team for the first time in a new year, and won it in their building. You know, the things he's been able to do and accomplish in this league is things that we will probably never see again. That's for sure. We'll never see another Tom Brady. Some of the records, will they be broken? Possibly, but not like how he did it. He's something that, you know, people will talk about Tom Brady forever. He is the Jordan for most people that believe Jordan is the GOAT. He's that for football. You can't touch his resume. Nobody can touch his resume. Like I said, there's so many Super Bowls, MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs, broken records. I mean, and he stayed healthy and consistent throughout. Maybe at some point in his career you saw it fall off, but now when you think about it, you kind of think it's because of the talent that he had at that point. So, what else could you say about Tom Brady? I mean, you've seen it all. If you're a hater of Tom Brady, like I said, I never rooted for Tom Brady in the Super Bowl besides 2 of them. And 2 of those Super Bowls were against the Giants, because I am a Cowboy fan. You can see that. And I will never root for the Giants to win a Super Bowl as long as I'm alive. So those were the 2 Super Bowls that were very painful for me, because 2 teams that I did not want to win, Giants and the Patriots. But I had to pick one. And Tom, I was rooting for you on those 2, and you didn't get the job done. But it's all good. We're moved on past that. We're moved on past that. So, but yeah, what else can you say about Tom Brady? First ballot Hall of Fame. There's no question. I don't think it'll be unanimous. Obviously, if you're a hater, you gotta give that up now. Now that he's not playing, there should be no more shit talking. And I know I've seen recently over the past few hours since the news broke, a lot of Raider fans are still hating on Tom Brady after the Tuck rule. I get it, but give the man his flowers while he's still here. Let's give him his flowers. He's not playing anymore. He can't torch your team. He can't torch my team anymore. 6-0 against my Dallas Cowboys. Thank you for that, Tom. But, you know, I think anybody that ever hated on Tom Brady, the biggest haters in the world today, or whenever he really announces it, that we got to give him his flowers. We just have to, because he deserves it. The greatest football quarterback we've ever seen in life, and will be that forever. I don't think anyone will ever pass him, ever. I don't think anyone will ever reach 7. I just don't think it will happen. So congratulations to Tom Brady. But that being said, there's a little kink into that, because now, hours after, we're hearing from Tom Brady's agent that he didn't give the consent, possibly, to Adam Schefter to give out that report. He possibly, not saying that the rumors aren't true, but most likely he wanted to do it himself. He wanted to put a video up for him and do it himself. So we'll see how that all unfolds later on. But right now, it still seems like he's retired and that we're not going to see number 12 on the field in the NFL for a while. Would I be shocked if he came back? Of course not. Who would be shocked? It's Tom Brady. I mean, we know what he represents, and we know he is addicted to the game, and the game means the most to him. So I would not be shocked if Adam Schefter jumped the gun. But again, I think Adam Schefter is a very trusted insider for the NFL, and if he says that Tom Brady is retiring, he probably is retiring. So I believe every word that Adam Schefter says, but I think he jumped the gun and probably should have let Tom Brady break the news himself, because it is Tom Brady. Let him do that. You let Big Ben do it. Let Tom Brady, the GOAT of the league, break the news. So, but obviously we will find out more information about that in the next few hours, maybe in the next few days. We'll see how that unravels. Now, to get into what we really came to talk about, AFC, NFC championship game going down tomorrow. 3 o'clock and 6:30. I forgot which game is first, but we're going to start off in the NFC. Rams, 49ers. Now, this one is another special one because we've seen these teams play twice already this year. And the last one was a very special one because the 49ers came back and beat the Rams. And they haven't lost to the Rams in a while. I think 6 games. The last 6 games, maybe more. 49ers have owned the Rams. So it's going to be a very interesting one. I know there's a lot of talk about Jimmy G can't get it done and all these things. And I'm one of those guys that said it. But he keeps getting it done. Maybe not how I would like to see him get it done, which is being a good quarterback, not turning over the ball, and really leading his team to a W. But he gets it done. He, in crucial moments, clutch moments, he plays clutch. I got to give it to him. I can't take that away from him. The man plays clutch in clutch moments. We saw it again last weekend. He got it done. Yes, he puts them in the hole. He only put up 6 points in total for that game because the touchdown that was scored was a defensive touchdown or special teams, I should say. He only put up 6 points, but the 6 points got it done. So there's not much to say about Jimmy G. I'm not going to kill him as much as I want to, but I will say I think he's going to have to do a little bit more than that against the Rams. Now, yes, he has gotten it done against the Rams earlier in the year, especially the last one, in dramatic fashion. But I think the Rams, I'm praying the Rams have figured it out. Because what they just did to the Bucks, even though the Bucks came back because they have the GOAT, what they did to Tom Brady in that offensive line was just nasty. They got after him. And that could have been part of the reason why Tom decided he wants to call it quits, because he don't want to go through that anymore. I think he's good. But the Rams defense is going to have to be solid because you know that offense with Deebo Samuel is going to be electrifying. They stay giving the ball to Deebo, Kittle, and those guys that can move the ball. But it's hard to stop those guys. Kyle Shanahan's offense is very, very complex, and it's hard to keep containing of it. But Jimmy G will give you a shot. We know that. I know Jimmy G fans out there want to praise him for getting the job done, and you should. But let's not forget, he does give the ball away a lot of times and put you guys in the hole to begin with. So let's not ignore that. If he doesn't do that, you guys have a shot. I will give you that. If Jimmy G does not put the ball in harm's way, which he probably will, more times likely than not, if he doesn't do it, you guys give yourselves a great shot. But I'm going with the Rams on this one because I think they are just too explosive on both sides of the ball. I just said the Rams defense defensive line is getting after the ball. They're getting after the quarterback. Then you got Jalen Ramsey doing his thing. Now, obviously, he can't guard Deebo Samuel throughout the whole game because Deebo is everywhere. He's in the backfield, receiver, slot, everywhere. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they play Deebo Samuel. But I think they will be able to contain him as much as they can and try to get the other guys to try to beat them because that's their best shot. You let Deebo go crazy, then you're feeding right into the 49ers' hand. But I don't think that'll be the case. And when you switch to the offensive side, y'all see what that offense, at its best, it's very dangerous. A very dangerous team. You got Cooper Kupp, who led the league in everything as far as receivers goes. Had a big game last week, a game-winning catch that put him in position to tie the game and to win the game. Sorry. You got OBJ, who has found himself again now that he's in LA in a better position, in a better situation, and a team that wants him. A quarterback that will find him. Playing great, much better than he was in Cleveland. You got the running game. When they can get going, Sony Michel and Akers, once they get going, it's really a problem. It's really a problem. And then you got, obviously, Matthew Stafford, who, when he's on fire, you might as well just pack it up because when you got all those weapons out there, and I know I'm missing some Van Jefferson and Higbee and all those other guys, but when he's on point with those guys and they're connecting, the Rams are a very tough team to beat, especially if both sides are clicking. If the offense is clicking and the defense is clicking, you might as well just call it lights out. Might as well call it lights out. So I think this, even though the 49ers have had their number, I am going with the Rams to get this one because it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. We saw the Bucs and the Saints go through that last year. When it mattered most, they couldn't beat them. So I'm going with the Rams doing the same thing. When it matters most, they're going to beat the 49ers. I got it a 32 to 20. 32 to 20. Rams are advancing to the Super Bowl, and not only advancing to the Super Bowl, home. They're going to be home. The second team in NFL history to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. And we seen it just last year with the GOAT and the Tampa Bay Bucs. So it will be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Now, moving on to the AFC Championship game. You got the Young Guns, the Cincinnati Bengals, going up against well, I ain't gonna call them champs, but they are champions, but not of recent. You got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a favorite, of course, favorite from the beginning of the season. They went through their ups and downs, basically, but now they're on the upscale. So this is going to be a very, very good game, a very interesting game, because you got a Bengals team who are on fire, and they got weapons. They got athletes. They got everything you need in a team to get you to this point and farther, which is the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, who's been lights out, playing like he's a 10-year veteran in the league, putting up numbers, 400-yard games in the playoffs. That's special. That's special. And only 3 years in, coming off of an injury, That's special. Joe Burrow is really legit. Very legit. Chase. He lit the Chiefs up last game. Almost 300 yards receiving. Chiefs, you better make sure you're on top of that boy because he is a problem. A very serious problem. You got Higgins. You got Mixon. And that defense at times can make some great plays. Don't sleep on the Bengals. They got the Chiefs once already earlier this year. Chiefs were up, feeling good about themselves, and the Bengals said, wait a minute, we here. We ain't giving up that easy. We want to be here. We want it more than you, and they got it. So, don't count out the Bengals. I know it was very shocking to some people, but don't be that shocked. They're a good team, and they deserve to be this far. They flat out deserve it. They've been on fire. No one should be shocked. Then you talk about the Chiefs. I mean, what else is there really to say about the Chiefs? They've been here plenty of times. If I'm not mistaken, 4 straight years AFC Championship game. 4 straight years. Patrick Mahomes doing his thing. Like I said earlier, had a very rough start to the season. Didn't know how to really get past his cover 2 defense besides basically forcing plays, trying to force it downfield because that's what the past 3 years looked like for them and they had success. But midway through that season, he finally adjusted and said, you know what, I'm going to take what they give us in this defense and we can still make big plays. And that's what happened. They're starting to make great plays with letting the defense give them what they want and taking it. And still doing, because you still have amazing athletes. You still have Tyreek Hill. You still got Kelsey. You still got a numerous amount of running backs that can make plays. And you got the greatest young quarterback in the game in Patrick Mahomes. And then you got Andy Reid and EB as your OC. I mean, what else could you ask for? That offense is going to do what they do. They just have to continue and play smart. And that's a matchup for that Bengals team. They did it once, but can they do it again? Can they slow that team down when they need to slow that team down and put up points? Because they know they can put up points. The Chiefs can put up points. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Chiefs' defense isn't what they need to be. They have their moments, but I don't know if they're going to be able to slow down, especially after what we saw last week. The Bills just went crazy on that defense in the second half. So the Bengals are definitely capable of doing that. I think this is going to be another close game. I'm going with the Chiefs because I started with the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl to begin the year. I had the Chiefs and Bucks, but obviously the Bucks got knocked out. I'm going Chiefs 42. Bengals 35. Chiefs 42, Bengals 35. And that's what our Super Bowl will be. The Chiefs and the Los Angeles Rams will be in the Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium on February 13th, I believe. 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that. But that's what the Super Bowl will be. And let me know what you guys think. What are your predictions? Who do you think will be in the Super Bowl and how it will go down? And also, what are your thoughts on the Tom Brady situation? Because that has gotten out of control from when it broke. So I would love to know what you guys think. Other than that, appreciate you guys. It's your boy Jones of the Sports Podcast. We make sports better. You better ask somebody.
Jones of the Sports. We make sports better.